Welcome to Sweeping the Country one more time, a very special Vault episode today brought to you by Jimmy Carter. And Jimmy, this one is a comedy, what do you call this, the hat trick?
The thing about comedy is when you're talking serious about comedy.
Right.
Now, Dudley Moore and I try to be the straight man on all these interviews like that.
Yeah.
I try to feed them stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're going and moving it along. And this is from 1984, so it's an older. Poor old Dudley died in 2002. He had some type of Parkinson's plus syndrome.
I loved him.
And he was not that old. He took him about 3 years. He was out of it. But this was in 1984. And, oh, my God, the movies. I loved him in Foul Play. Not everybody has seen that.
I forgot about
You had
Foul
to
Play.
love him in 10.
Oh, yeah.
With Bo Derek. Oh, my God.
Oh, I did. I love the braids
Arthur,
and everything.
Oh.
Arthur, hilarious. Drunk rich guy.
He was nominated for an Academy Award for Best Actor for that. Did win the Golden Globe that year.
Yeah,
and then there was Mickey and Maude and several other things. He was a major television star in England.
Was he?
Before all this happened. But let's sit down and let a little chat with the wonderful Dudley Moore.
Dudley, you have played a sexually obsessed conductor in Foul Play, a lustful songwriter in 10, and now you're a bigamist in Mickey and Maude. What is being said here? Are you trying to tell us anything?
I'm basically telling you that I'm sexually rampant, unreliable, and plain nuts.
Well, do you see yourself as one of the screen's best lovers?
Yes, I do. Yes.
I thought you were.
Yes, I'll show.
Who are your role models for this merriment that you're making on the screen?
The who?
The merriment you're making on the
screen.
Who
are my role models? My mother and my dog, 4 reindeer, and my model for merriment. Shall we get into this seriously?
We can.
No, I won't. I won't get into this seriously.
All right. Let's go back to your youth here. This will be like therapy.
My youth?
Your youth. You called yourself once an over-serious...
You mean I'm still not young? Is that what you're trying to say?
I didn't get the memo. It said here that you were an over-serious, pompous boy.
Oh, yes, I think that's true. I'm spluttering at the thought of it.
Of being over-serious or a pompous boy? You're...
Both. Both make me splutter.
Were you really?
I think I was very aggressive little boy, which meant that I invited it. I was one of the quieter ones. I was timid, you know. But underneath all that timidity lurked a small monster. Still does. So I got bullied a great deal. I was very pompous, you know, which is a nice cover-up for not feeling too good about yourself. Yeah.
Did all of a sudden you just became funny? Or did you know?
I did. I suddenly decided I better become funny. I'm not winning this way. I get beaten up at lunchtime. I better be funny. And somehow that diffuses all the aggression. Next.
You used to charge $15 to play the church organ. What's your current rate if I needed you for this weekend?
Church organ? Oh, it's...
Did you really charge $15 to play the church organ?
I didn't charge it, but the... no, it wasn't 15, actually.
Well, it would have been English.
It was 1 guinea, which is £1 1 shilling, which is now worth about $1.30. But at the time, you know, in my mind, it felt like £20, $40. And I remember one afternoon there were 5 weddings and I got 5 guineas. If you sang in the choir, you got 1 shilling and 6pence, which is a few cents. But that was a great source of income for me.
You were considered for a long time a cult comedian. Why is that? Is it the type of humor you were doing?
Well, it meant all the films I did didn't work, you know, and few people saw them. So you were considered a cult comedian.
There was a loyal, small Dudley Moore following until...
Yes, small meaning the following, not me, presumably. Because I'm very tall underneath this...
I was going to ask you about that, but my first question actually was, Mr. Moore, why are you short?
Ah.
And I went ahead and went to the other one. I wasn't sure.
Why am I short? Well, my mother and father...
Why are you short? Let's get to that.
My mother and father were my size. They're even smaller now. There's very little left, apparently. My sister is 5'8". I was always being told I'd be as tall as my Uncle Bernard, but that never happened. So I was going to say something awful, but I won't. No, you can cut round this.
Comedians, we're going to run this as it is. We're going to show him thinking.
Yes, thinking. I was thinking something so awful. But no, I've had no luck in getting any taller. I've tried everything.
If you were 6'3", would you be sitting here being interviewed, do you think?
Yes. I don't know. It's a good point, but it's one of those unanswerables.
Let's talk about some of the people you've worked with. You've had some interesting co-stars in the past few years. One of my favorites was, you didn't have a tremendous part in the movie, but I thought you almost stole the show, was in Foul Play with Goldie Hawn.
Yeah.
What did you think about that experience?
Goldie,
that was the one you were a sexually obsessed conductor.
Right. Well, that was fun. I really wasn't sure about doing that part because I wasn't sure about doing another sexually obsessed twit. However, Colin Higgins was a wonderful director, still is, and Goldie Hawn is delightful to work with. You know, my scenes were with her, and she's just terrific. Yeah.
Okay, I'm sure you ask about Bo Derek all the time too. What is the real Bo Derek? I mean, is she back in those days, at least, anyway? I
thought she did a wonderful job in 10. I really do. I mean, an acting job. I thought she was just terrific. I thought she was great in A Change of Season. Was that the film she did afterwards? I think that was the name of it. I think if she just allowed herself to be herself, then the films she does would have even more impact, you know. But no, I think she was terrific. Very quiet woman, and very much very reserved, but very nice.
Your biggest successes seem to be when you are playing a real funny, up, physical kind of guy. Does that bother you a little bit when you make a movie like a 6 Weeks and it's not really as accepted commercially as some of these other ones are? And this one will be a large commercial success, I believe, Mickey and Maude.
Well, yeah, it seems to have the potential. I was bitterly disappointed by the reception of 6 Weeks because I put my heart and soul into that, and I loved it. I loved writing the music. As a matter of fact, I dreamt I was playing the music last night. Isn't that funny? And somebody said, "That's the worst music I've ever heard." Isn't that interesting? I think it's lovely myself. But no, I was really disappointed. I had great hopes for it, so I was baffled when
Is it the old thing of a singer always wants to be an actor and an actor always wants to be a singer? You wanted to be serious?
No,
I
didn't play a morose, grave person. I played somebody with a great sense of humor, which I felt mitigated against any unbearable solemnity. I wasn't doing my Ingmar Bergman, and I would never do that. I have no plans to play, you know, things that I don't think would fit me as a complete person, and I'm both very solemn and very mad and happy and grief-stricken like the rest of us, you know. So I wouldn't want to play anything that was beyond me. So I didn't think 6 Weeks was something that would not be received well.
You're going to play an elf in the film Santa Claus. Are you excited about that, or what kind of film is that?
Terribly excited.
Are you going to be? Is that a major deal being an elf, or are you just going to be?
No, I'm just based. People ask me, what is it do you want to portray? And I say truly that it's like the brother I wanted to have, but never did. Like Alec Guinness was to John Mills in Great Expectations. Nice and supportive and things. And I think it'll be an entertaining fantasy film.
And Mickey and Maude, give a quick sell job for the people out there that need to see the film. Look at the camera.
It's funny, it's touching, it's charming, it's hilarious, volcanic laughs, and please go and see it. No, I think it's the best work I've done for many moons, and that is very much due to the fact that I was helped by Blake Edwards, and he gave me an area, an environment to play in, and didn't pull any reins on me. So I think it's a performance that I'm proud of, a film that I love. Yeah.
He gave us a lot of joy and happiness in his time. I want to tell you,
he did.
He really did, and his stuff on. I mean, all those movies that we talked about earlier. Yeah, they're still funny. If we watch one today. Particularly Foul Play. Do you ever see that one?
I never.
Shot in San Francisco with Chevy Chase.
I do remember that.
Detective. It was the first movie Chevy ever did.
I never saw the movie because I think my parents were it was rated R, I think, and so I never saw it. And
that's one of those you ought to write down and find on
do that.
Prime or something. Yeah. Barry Manilow does the theme.
Oh my God.
Goldie Hawn is beautiful and wonderful in that one.
Yeah, Foul Play. Okay.
He is so funny as a weirdo. And there's Billy Barty that gets thrown out the window. I mean, it's in my top 10 favorite comedy films of all time.
I will have to look it up. I just remember him, of course, Bo Derek with the braids and the whole deal and all that. I remember that, but you had reminded me of Arthur, and I'd forgot what a great drunk guy
Oh.
he played in that movie. I mean, that was really good.
And I just wish I could remember the old man's name that's his butler, in
Yeah, I
that one.
can't remember either.
And the whole thing is just, when a movie can make you laugh just thinking about it.
Right. It's
Which
a
it
great
did
movie.
just then with me.
Yeah.
And then you got this next lady who is just, she was on Laugh-In.
Oh,
which
yes.
is really, really where she got her start.
Yeah.
And she's won 2 Tonys, a Grammy, 7 Emmys. And she's been in great movies like 9 to 5.
Oh, yeah.
And so many others. And this one, we're talking about the movie where she played Miss Jane Hathaway in the Beverly Hillbillies. Beverly Hillbillies movie. So if you're a Hillbillies fan, you're going to hear us talk a little bit about Beverly Hillbillies. But here we go with Lilly Tomlin.
Well, I love to see you when you do a full-blown Be Crazy comedy. And this is the first one you've really done totally nuts probably since 9 to 5.
Yes.
Wasn't this fun to be that way?
It was great fun. It was really fun. And this is even more so in the sense because this movie lets you, I mean, I had to play a much straighter character in 9 to 5. Violet was fun and everything, but she had to be a little more, she had to be more naturalistic, and Miss Hathaway in the Hillbillies is you're given permission to be just that much more styled.
Is it a little intimidating playing somebody who people are so familiar with when
Yes.
another actress has played the part?
Very much, yeah.
Does that worry you when you maybe want to take the
Always.
part?
You think about it, you think about it before you take the role, you weigh it, you think about it, you think about how you would do it or hope you can do it, and then you just pray you're walking the line, that honors that memory and lets you bring something new to it.
The Beverly Hillbillies is a very unusual program. I mean, I've seen it a million times. I always thought Jethro Bodine was kind of a role model for me. And it's really an unusual piece of television.
Yes.
And really theater. I mean, Irene Ryan, for example, the late Granny, as a comedian, I'm sure you could say some things about how good an actress she was.
Oh, no, she was wonderful. They were all wonderful. They were all so, they're so strongly drawn and essenced, and the relationships, and then there was a lot of incredible turns in double things going on in those episodes that made it really warm to people.
When you see a show like the Beverly Hillbillies that was written in the 60s, and there are others, is it the writing and the acting combined, or is it the writing that really gave these great actors something to work with, or they ad-lib it, or can you tell?
I don't know if you can tell. I think it's casting. It's just, it happens to be this lucky circumstance of casting married to the right content somehow. To me, it's a roll of the dice. I don't think you can ever predict that it's going to be right. You could have had, maybe someone else would have been in Buddy Ebsen's role, and it might have just been off somehow.
It's magic.
Yeah.
It really is magic. Was it strange working with Dabney Coleman again, this time being his aide?
No. It was perfect, because he's one of my favorites.
This is kind of divine casting in a way. I mean, if you had sat around a party and said, who would be good in this, who would be good in that? I mean, it's really hard to imagine, who I would have gotten if I couldn't have gotten Dabney Coleman for Mr. Drysdale.
Right, I know.
And you're the great, perfect Miss Jane. I don't think I would have thought of Cloris Leachman, but she did a Granny like I've never seen.
Yeah, she's
I mean,
wonderful.
I didn't think any human could ever be made to look like Granny's character, because that was really a physical look as much as what she did.
Right. No, I think everybody, and that's a credit to Penelope. I mean, she really persisted in this casting. Even Jim, hiring Jim, she wanted Jim, even though other people were offered to her, other better known people in Hollywood and so on. She knew that Jim was going to have authenticity, and he had to be the rock of the family, and to replace someone like Ebsen, he had to be authentic. He had to have a real heart, in that culture, and Jim does.
What is Lilly Tomlin like when she's at work in a movie? Are you a different person? Are you?
No, I don't think, you have to ask someone else. I don't know. I think I'm pretty much the same.
You are? I mean, you don't go into a more serious, when work mode when you're working or that kind of thing, or you try to keep it light?
Well, it depends on what you're doing, kind of, or it depends on what scene is coming up, or depends how easy it is that what you're doing, because then you can be playful. If it's real easy, and Miss Hathaway was extremely close to me, and easy for me physically. I mean, it was just a kind of thing that suits me, and I have a load of fun doing it. So, that fun translates. Every day is sort of a pleasure, and interrelating with people like Dabney and Cloris that you have a history with, and people who you get a kick out of, you know. So.
Now, in this movie, Dolly Parton shows up for a second.
Yes.
And I'm with her, I guess, 2 nights from now. And why? And the public wanted 9 to 5 to be done again.
We're still trying.
You can't get Jane away from Ted now,
no,
though.
she probably won't do it. You're right. I mean, we'd have to really, really. I don't think she would do it. She might, but I don't think so.
What's been the problem? Why has it taken so many years? I mean, this was a big hit movie. There had to be pressure from somebody to try to make some more money on the concept.
Yes.
It was a perfect. It was one of those casts that it was so perfect you had to see them again.
Yeah, I don't.
Is it an availability problem, or you couldn't get a script, or what?
No, for a while it was first of all, Colin, the director, who was he was preparing a second script, and then Colin got sick and died, and then I know Dolly's company has tried to come up with a script a couple of times. And although the scripts have never been shown to me, apparently they didn't think they worked strongly enough, so they never advanced them. I'm hoping I think it would be a shame for us not, before it gets too late. I wish they would reunite us.
I mean, you would want to do it again, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And Dolly's always told me she wants to do it again.
Right.
And then I guess when I talked to the last time that I did something with Jane Fonda, she said she wanted to do it again.
Oh, she did?
This was like a
couple years ago.
Before she went into this housewife mode.
Yeah.
You know, but she wanted to do it.
She might not want to do it again now with Ted. I don't know.
It's such a shame. It's
I
such
know.
a great. Well, maybe you'll
she
figure
might get
out.
talked into it.
Maybe we can figure out some way how to do that again. But I'll
Okay.
tell Dolly hello for you.
Oh, you will. Okay,
right,
great.
see.
Do that.
Right.
You know, Jimmy, she also did some live comedy touring, which I thought was kind of neat. I mean, she's very funny. Not necessarily stand-up, but she made me laugh a ton. She had all these characters and just fantastic comedian.
I'd forgotten she got an Academy Award nomination for Best Supporting Actress in Robert Altman's Nashville, which was hard to watch.
Yeah,
I didn't like that movie, but it's an interesting, kind of
good actress.
Film.
Yeah.
All right, you ready for these next guys? Since we're doing comedy today,
right? Here's the hat trick.
This is 3 guys. If we hang on till the end of it, you might hear Chevy Chase do something that's disgusting. Is all I can say.
You will stay all the way to the end.
You do hear it. I think you do hear it. Ladies and gentlemen, here they are, the 3 amigos: Steve Martin, Chevy Chase, and Martin Short.
Buenos dias, 3 amigos.
Gesundheit.
Yes. Let's go ahead and go through slow motion. Don't do it fast, because I still can't remember the salute from the movie. I know it does something like this, but it went relatively quickly.
The 3 amigos salute?
Yes, the very slowly, in slow motion, the 3 amigos salute.
Slow motion.
Do it in slow motion.
No.
Well, this is a regular.
1, 2, 3. Okay.
Thank you.
That's going to be very popular. Who thought of that, by the way? Who gets credit?
It's a combination of 3, 4 people pitching together and finally coming up with a masterpiece.
I couldn't have said it better. You 3 guys, when you were little
Actually,
boys.
it was in a Leonardo da Vinci notebook we got it from.
When you were little, did you normally, this is for all 3, did you normally play cowboys or did you play doctor?
I played nurse when I was a child. I know that.
Martin?
Dale Evans was a big hero. Who else?
You played cowgirl?
I played Zorro. Actually, Zorro was a big fan.
I
And
was
Cowboy.
Robin Hood most of the time.
I
which is
played
not a
cowboys and then slowly would maneuver into doctor. So in the old days they had doctors.
Did you ever watch the Cisco Kid?
Do the cricket. What?
From Waco, Texas, and you're from Canada, and you're from New York, right?
As far as you know.
I was just verifying that. Martin, tell me something. You did social work when you were in college, right?
Yes.
Did that help you in working with these 2 men?
Yes, because I actually worked in a center for adult people with emotional disturbances, and so.
Did you really?
Yes, I
It
did.
helped your dancing.
I didn't know that about you.
Yes, I did for a year.
But now it makes total sense.
Well, you're hot.
Yeah.
We just ate. We got to explain we just ate.
Yeah.
Everyone's running out.
Generally, you get a lot of gas.
You're hot. No, but it was great working with these 2 mutts. Gee, this is probably the worst moment I've ever had on television.
No, it isn't.
No,
No, it isn't. I think you're
About
doing
the
very
last
well. Let me
10
say what he wanted
Yes.
to say, which is it's great working with me and Steve.
Yes.
Are they very easy to work with?
Astonishingly easy.
They don't try to intimidate you or bother you or do anything with you?
Yes, well, Steve did give me some advice. Steve, what was that advice you gave me?
Don't be funny. Don't try to be funny while I'm on the screen, because the audience would hate him for it.
That's true. And you did, and you weren't funny, or how would you feel about that?
No, I broke the rules. I did what I wanted once I heard action.
I like this movie a lot. It's a comedy, but it's like it's a little bit like an old Western, but you're making fun of the old Westerns. How would you?
A little bit, but the biggest problem we're fighting right now is, this movie is shot in color, And there's the black and whiters who want to change it to black and white.
Yeah.
We're trying to stop them because we think it's damaging to the work. Hello.
Give me some adjectives to describe yourself if somebody was trying to do that right now, Chevy.
To do what?
Describe yourself and just adjectives only.
Big.
You know, they always say witty and that kind of thing, so give me some good adjectives.
You mean in the picture?
No, just in
life.
Just in life, as a person, as a human being.
Fatuous.
Take off the US and you'll have it.
Fat. No, I would say that I would be described as, you know, it's like you take a jerk and a nerd and a leading man, you put them together.
Yeah.
And you
what do you
get
get?
3 Amigos. I would say, for me, the intellectual.
Steve?
The intellectual, I would say about myself.
And Martin?
I combine a kind of combination of being driven and pert.
Petulant.
But you have a pertness with the desperation too, quality.
Yeah.
Like, I want this laugh, I want to get it, and I don't care what the cost is.
Are all three of you guys frustrated singers, as opposed to frustrated actors, but frustrated singers?
Steve and I became frustrated singers when Marty sang. Because he was too good.
I mean, you're in music videos a lot. I mean, Spies Like Us.
And I don't notice I don't do any of the singing. I just lip sync.
You pretend a lot.
Yeah.
Would you like to sing? You play guitar.
If you like. Then you mean now?
If you'd like. What was the song? Buttercup. The Buttercup song.
Buttercup
That's a sweet song.
That's them. Then there was the.
Do you realize that this was
I'm the only one
wouldn't get a
here.
pickup?
We would get a pickup at this one.
We're just going to go in and out of this stuff.
Who's had a hit single.
Yeah, that's.
He sold out. You got a gold record.
That's right.
You're the only one here who is single, as a matter of fact. We're married.
They're married and have 2 children.
Yes.
You're just
And
still
how
a
did
wild
you
and
do
crazy
that?
guy.
I simply mounted the horse and rode.
We have to finish this with.
Oh, really?
Yes, we do.
We just started.
We've learned the salute and we've learned about you guys, and now we're going to end up with My Little Buttercup. Do you remember that? Sweet Little Buttercup.
Sure, but
Let's end with. We'll go out. Yes, we're going to go out for the last 30 seconds of this interview.
My little buttercup has the sweetest smile.
Yes.
My
Dear
little
buttercup.
You can do that. Won't you stay a while?
There you have it, and they're on key too.
Yeah.
Marvelous.
Thank you.
Well, there they are. What can you say?
Here's what I can say. My entire life, I have idolized those 3 guys, and probably Chevy Chase and Steve Martin a little more than Martin Short. He kind of came to the party later, but he was there. But those guys made me laugh in Caddyshack, The Jerk, all those movies that they did. Their stand-up, even going back to Saturday Night Live.
I haven't seen that one in a long time.
My God, so funny. And Jimmy, you having those guys, I guess somewhere in the file and now sharing it with everybody else is pretty darn cool, if you ask me.
Yeah, that was done at the Ventana Canyon Resort in Tucson, Arizona. We did the interviews outside.
Yes.
With these big, beautiful cactus all around us.
Yes,
the weather was perfect. And,
that was great. No, they were so funny. You guys were throwing barbs back and forth. And I encourage everybody to go to the YouTube channel to watch it because there's stuff you miss in the audio. I mean, you hear it, you have to go back and listen. But if you watch them, just the motions, the looks they give each other,
By the way,
they give you.
You saw the movie 3 Amigos with this as was.
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember his character's name, Chevy Chase?
God, I can't remember. I cannot.
Dusty Bottoms.
The whole movie was like that. Just funny
Dusty
stuff.
Bottoms, Lucky Day, and Ned Nederlander.
Nederlander, yeah. Funny stuff. That's what you get right here on The Vault. Each week we do a Vault episode. And, of course, you can go watch at AskJimmyCarter.com. You can watch the video of these interviews if they're available. And, of course, you can hear the audio every week right here on Sweeping the Country. Until next time, I'm Derek Walker. He is...
I'm Jimmy Carter.
Good day.
Good day.